Alrighty, Coach. A win over St. Edwards. Can you just talk about the shift you've seen within your team from that first game, from being, down and losing until the second last two games where they came out on top?
Well, we had a good weekend. We just couldn't get the big hit in game one, lost 2-1. And St. Edwards, kids have pitched it well all year. The big lefty most especially, and Cheyenne Floyd pitched a heck of a game for us. I think she threw a 4 or 5 hitter with 9 strikeouts. So it was a shame to waste her performance, but from the 4th inning on, we started hitting some balls hard. We just couldn't quite put 2 of them together, and then we had a couple of hits or balls off the bat that looked like they were going to be game-tying hits, and it carried just enough to them, or they made some good plays on them. So that was a frustrating loss because we had every opportunity to win that game, but you got to tip your hat to them and give them credit for not allowing us to. And then I was really proud of the way our team bounced back on Friday and got the doubleheader, 5-1, 5-2, and both of our pitchers threw the ball really well. We were without Genesis this past weekend, and Tori Hogan, who's been struggling, she knows it, it's not a secret, and she really went out and battled. Had a little stumble in the 4th inning. We were getting a little nervous whether she'd get through the 4th, and once she got through that, she shut them down from there on and was able to give us a complete game. And then Cheyenne Floyd came back and threw another gem in game 3. So it was a big series win. They're just ahead of us in the conference standing, probably in the regional rankings. They would be right ahead of us right now. So that was a big win, getting 2 out of 3 from them. And no time to rest, because here we are back on the road again today, headed down to Laredo to play a scrappy Texas A&M international team who also can pitch. So it's right back at it, and hopefully we can figure out a way to get 2 out of 3, if not all 3.
Back-to-back series wins for you guys. I know last week you said you've seen kind of a shift in the energy and things on the field. What kind of goes back to that? You guys have seen the success you guys have the last 2 weeks.
Well, it's a long season. We play a bunch of games, and this midweek travel schedule, playing 3 games on a Tuesday, Wednesday every other week, I think it's taken its toll on everybody in the conference, but some have handled it better than others, and we've handled it pretty good, but we don't have a large roster. Some dugouts are, they got 15 people in the dugout. We've got 7. So it's hard for us to have that same vibe out of our dugout than it does other teams, and sometimes they over try to do it and things like that, and then sometimes you just kind of get that feel that we don't have the energy when really we're doing a lot of things really good. But go back to Western Mexico. We had a little powwow, and they had a powwow as a team and made a decision to make some changes, and it seems to be helping. On the field, having Malaya Burns back in the lineup was massive for us this week. A 5th-year senior who's been out for 3 weeks, and it was really nice. It solidified our lineup to give us that veteran down in the 7 or 8 hole, wherever she was, and she went out and had a couple base hits this weekend and stole a couple bases. So it was nice to have her back because we're going to need her going down the stretch. And again, we're still battling with a few injuries, but it was nice to have her back in the lineup.
The level of competitiveness that you see from your team right now, do you think it's enough to make it a deep post run in the playoffs?
Well, we got to continue to get better. There's no doubt. A deep post run is not a given in this conference and in this region. So when you're dealing with some of the best teams in the country in your conference, they can't even say, yeah, we expect to make the deep postseason run, because the 8 teams that get into the regional tournament, any 8 of them can beat you at any given day. We're a good example of that. We beat UT Tyler 2 out of 3, and we've beaten Oklahoma Christian at their place. We've beaten good teams, but we still got 3 more series before then. So we got to focus on international right now, and then we got Lubbock Christian coming in this weekend, who's playing really good, a talented team that's really started. They struggled a little bit early, but now they're putting together a run and really playing well. So that's our focus this week, and we got to figure out how to go beat an international team who's pitching it well. Another long trip. So here we go again, and hopefully we can figure out a way to get 3. If not, get 2 out of 3 and continue to plug away.
You mentioned, the pitching side of things for international. What else do they kind of, offer besides the long?
Well, they're not hitting for power like they typically, they'll typically hit some long balls. Their field is conducive to the home run. It's pretty short in center field. But they've only hit 8 all year long. So a little bit surprising when I was looking at the statistics. They're not hitting very well as a team. They truly rely on pitching, and you know, it's one of those teams that you got to go figure out a way to score on them. And if you can get 4 or 5, that's been enough for a lot of teams this year. But they're going to scrap. You know, Coach Libby's always going to scrap. There's no secrets between the two of us. We play a lot of each. You know, he's come to our tournament every year. So we played each other 3 times already back in February. Now, it was a long time ago, and teams changed since then. But at the same time, you know, they've seen our pitching. We've seen their pitching. And, you know, you just have to go out and compete and try to do things better than they do. And before I get out of here, I got to we made some great defensive plays on Saturday. Ashton Durner at shortstop made 2 incredible catches over her head that were going to fall in for base hits, diving, running away from the ball, and then Ashton Lerma did the same thing going into right field. So, you know, if we can get that kind of defense again, you know, we've talked about over the course of the season how that's kind of been a little bit of a struggle for us. So if we can get those kind of defensive performances again to go along with the pitching, then, you know, it's going to make us a lot tougher to beat. And it was nice to see those players go out and give 110% effort, make some great plays in big situations. Cool.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.